Okay, 4-5 on page 124 actually is a review. There's really nothing here that you haven't seen before. It's just a little bit different in terms of dealing with multiple accounts. So I don't think you're going to run into a lot of obstacles while you do this. But again, you're going to be referencing 4-3. So please keep that in mind as you're working on this. Couple of things I want to point out to you. You're going to be dealing with stuff that's in the adjustments. For some people, that's easier to understand than others. But we're going to deal with all the adjustments. So we're going to start with uncollectible accounts expense. And again, this is pages 112, 113, 114, and 115 in your workbook. So uncollectible accounts expense is $32.55. Allowance for uncollectible accounts is $32.55. Income summary books $71.60. Merchandise inventory books is $71.60. Income summary music $90.18. Merchandise inventory music $90.18. Supplies expense administrative is $29.22. Supplies administrative $29.22. Supplies expense books $8.24. Supplies books $8.24. Supplies expense music $6.97. Supplies music $6.97. Insurance expense $2,700. Prepaid insurance is $2,700. Depreciation expense office equipment $2,400. Accumulated depreciation office equipment $2,400. Depreciation expense store equipment books $3,450. Accumulated depreciation store equipment books $3,450. Depreciation expense store equipment music $3,780. Accumulated depreciation store equipment music $3,780. Federal income tax expense is $716.18, and federal income tax payable is $716.18. So that's the first part. The second part is doing the closing entries. Now, this part is kind of split up in two parts. The first thing that we are going to close, as you can see on the screen here, are the sales and purchases accounts. Now, the reason why they've split it up, and I believe if you look on page 124, they want you to use page 14 and 15 of a journal. So we're going to do page 14 here, and then we'll do the rest on page 15. So sales books, $235,253.4. Sales music, $226,952.5. Purchases discount books, $1158.3. Purchases returns and allowances books, $2214.6. Purchases discount music is $1255.38. Purchases returns and allowances music, $2,036.92. Those are all debited. And then our income summary general is credited $468,871.1. Then we go on to closing the rest of the accounts. Now, I'm not going to read all of these. I'm just going to kind of summarize. These are the reverse. I think you can kind of see a correlation as to why they did it the way they did. So I'm on page 15. Income summary general. Again, this is on December 31st, if I didn't say that already. Okay, that top one is the total of all of our credits. Now we're closing accounts that are debited. So that is why we do this the way we do. So income summary books, music, then we go to sales discount books, sales returns and allowances books, sales discount music, sales returns and allowances music, purchases books, purchases music, ad expense books, depreciation expense store equipment books, payroll taxes expense books, salary expense books, supplies expense books, ad expense music, depreciation expense store equipment music, payroll taxes expense music, salary expense music, supplies expense, music, credit card fee expense, depreciation expense, office equipment, insurance expense, miscellaneous expense, payroll taxes expense, administrative, rent expense, supplies expense, administrative, salary expense, administrative, supplies expense, administrative, uncollectible accounts expense, utilities expense, and federal income tax expense. All of those added together equals $416,942.59. Then the last part is the income summary general. Okay, so that is the difference between the one we did on page 14 and the one we just did here. So that's that 48,000 number. $48,008.59. That goes to retained earnings. Retained earnings and dividends, $5,000. If you're wondering where did that come from, just to tell you, that's the dividends number. That 5,000 is the dividends number. You're closing that. And that is 5-4. Or 4-5, sorry.